Today's Amud is Daf Daled Amud base. We're still on Daf Daled Amud Aleph, halfway in the middle of the white lines. Just want to give a brief little Hakadama and say that we're not keeping up with the Amud, which is supposed to be. We will catch up, hopefully. The reason why we're not keeping up with the Amud is because there's a lot of things that have to be discussed. These are essential, and if we don't do it, so like you missed the whole point. We missed the whole point of learning it. I tried to come up with like a parable, mashal. What's it like? Like if you do the daf and you don't get into the sugyas, the whole point of learning is that you should have your own opinion on what's going on. You have to have your chelik in Torah. You should have your own terutzim. You should have your own kashas. You should have your own mahalach in the sugya. How you understand the sugya. There's big debates going on over here in the Rishonim and Achronim. So if you don't see the kashas, you don't see the terutzim, you don't see the different machlekes that's happening, so you missed the whole point. I was trying to come up with the mashal I came up with. It's obviously not a good mashal, but you understand what I mean. Obviously, learning is amazing, even if you don't have your own pshat in Torah, but that's the heart, that's the point. You have your chelik in Torah. So a guy goes to the fanciest restaurant in the world, beautiful, expensive, fancy, 25-course restaurant, I don't know, everything you can't imagine. And before he orders, they like to refresh you. Before you even get the menu, they put water on the table, right? So a guy comes to the restaurant, drinks the water, right? And he's like, fizzy water even, they give you sparkling. If it's fancy enough, they give you sparkling water to refresh you. You drink the sparkling water, and that's it, he's done. You know what, he goes home and he tells everyone, you know what? I went to the fanciest restaurant, whatever it's called, the French Connection, I can't remember what the place is called. You ate the water, you drank water, you didn't even order yet. The whole point is to have, this is the Akdama, you learn it, in order that you should actually have your own pshat. Understand, if you just read that, you only see one of the mahalchim in the sugya, so you can't have a teretz, you don't have a kasha, you don't have anything, you missed the whole point. The guy didn't order anything, you had the water, thank you very much. So, yeah, we're not keeping up with the Amud at the moment. Hopefully we will. We're a little bit behind, we're about Amud behind. So, but the point is to at least see what the machlekes are over here and have your own opinion. Okay, having said that, wasted so much time, let's go. Says the gemorah. I'm not sure now if we'll have time to actually get into the machlekes, but this Amud is so full of so many different opinions, which are halacha l'maisa, and it's fascinating stuff. Says the gemorah. We're talking about David HaMelech, and David HaMelech says, Shalom Aleichem. David HaMelech says, whatever I do, I ask Mephibosheth, so that's why I'm a chassid. That's what he says. Mephibosheth Rebbe. Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth says to him, Yofe Danti, Yofe Chiavti, Yofe Zachisi, Yofe Tahati, Yofe Temesi. And David would ask Mephibosheth, did I paskin right? Did I say it's Tomei? Was I right? Did I get it right? He asks him everything. I wasn't embarrassed to ask Mephibosheth. This is David HaMelech, the king, one of the greatest people in living history. He had a Rebbe, he asked him. Everyone has a Rebbe, everyone has to learn from someone. Omri b'shiburei Davidi, Yeshivs says, my crow. What does it mean? I speak your halachas in front of kings. Who are these kings? Achronim say, Malachim, Mephibosheth was the son of Shaul, so he was royalty. He was a prince. Or it means Malachim, people who are Talmud called Malachim. I'm not embarrassed. Tana, his name wasn't really Mephibosheth, his name was Ishbosheth. So, Velama, if you look at Novi, there's someone called Ishbosheth, there's someone called Mephibosheth. So, Velama, Nikra Shrei Mephibosheth, why did Chazal call him Mephibosheth? Because he would put down David in halacha. The question is we know that the Gemara says that anywhere the David paskin, the halacha kamaisai, halacha kamaisai v'chol makom, right? So how could Mephibosheth get it wrong? How could David get it wrong? Mephibosheth be embarrassing him. So we'll see. Good question. David had a son Kilav who was a massive Talmud Chacham from Yochanan Lo Kilav Shmai Ela Daniel Shmai. This Kilav was really Daniel. There's two pasuk that says his first son was Kilav, and the other one says his first son was Daniel. Why was he called Kilav? He was Mevayesh Mephibosheth Balacha Dalad Amud Aleph, middle of the white lines. Shleima b'chachmasai, and Shleima said, B'ni im chacham libcha yismach libi gamani, v'oimer chacham b'ni v'samach libi v'shiva chopi dava. So b'schus David shut up in front of Mephibosheth. He had this great son called Kilav, and Kilav, or Kalev, I don't know how you say this, he put down Mephibosheth. He was greater than Mephibosheth. So what they explain is that David was right in everything he passed on, and Mephibosheth said he was wrong. And Kilav set the record straight. That's what David was zeicha to. So yeah, David was right. The David, mi, kri, lenafshe chassid, did David really call himself a chassid? Did David announce that he's this righteous person? That he was scared, he's not going to go to Olam Haba. Why are there points, why are there dots on the word lulei? We say this every day in Elam. Now, Master of the world, I know that you give the righteous people a good reward. I don't know if I'm one of those people. I know that the tzaddikim get schar tov. I don't know if I'm one of them. Maybe the sin, famous sin, that's gonna take away my chance to get into Olam Haba. Could Rabbi Yaakov the Rabbi Yaakov Rami? There's a contradiction. Right? Hashem tells Yaakov Avinu, I'm going to watch you. I'm going to protect you. Yaakov was very scared. How could Yaakov be scared? How could he be scared if Baruch himself is going to protect you? You know, God himself tells you, you're worried, nothing to worry about. You're scared. How can you say such a thing? Why was Yaakov scared? Maybe the sin is gonna take away from his chances, take away from his taftacha. When they came to Israel, so Chazal said, make a hekesh. In the days of Ezra, when they came back to Eretz Yisrael, they were fitting Kadesh Nasalem Neis be Yeshua. They should have had Neis like in the times of Yeshua Benum when they came into Eretz Yisrael. Now, when they came to build the first bayis in the days of Yeshua, they had tremendous miracles. When they came in the days of Ezra, they should have also had miracles. But Ela Shagar Machet. There was this, they were chayta, they had a virus, so they weren't zeicha. So, last line of the gemorah, second last line of the gemorah. Now we're going to get back to the sugya of Kriya Shema. Deep breath. Get ready. It's complicated. Chacham say you have to learn till chatzos. You have to say Kriya Shema till chatzos. Right? There's three opinions in the Mishnah. First opinion was Rabbi Elazar, you've got till the end of the first section, first third. Chacham said you got till halfway, midnight. And Rabbi Gamliel said you got till Alayis Shachar, the morning. But the Gemara says we're passing like the Gemara later on. Shmuel says we're passing like Rabbi Gamliel. We're passing like Rabbi Gamliel. You have till the morning to say Kriya Shema. So says the Gemara, Chacham commands Sfirei. Who does Chacham hold like? He's Sfirei like Rabbi Elazar. If they hold like Rabbi Elazar, that you've only got till the first third. Leimu Rabbi Elazar. They should say you've got till the first third. Why are you saying you got till Chatzos? Chacham giving you an extra 2 hours here, right? Turn the page, Daled on the base. So Chacham for sure do not hold like Rabbi Elazar, because Chacham gave you more time. The Ikra Gamliel Sfiru, if Chacham hold like Rabbi Gamliel, Leimu Rabbi Gamliel. They should just say we hold like Rabbi Gamliel. So the Gemara says Leimu Rabbi Gamliel. They really hold like Rabbi Gamliel. Why did they say chatzais? In order that you shouldn't do a sin and postpone Kriya Shema. Kedetanya, there's a similar brisa that says Chacham also siyag l'divrayim. Chacham made a border, protection. Chacham were always busy making boundaries, that you shouldn't do something that's bad. A person shouldn't come from the field in the evening. He says, you know what? I work hard day's work, I'll go home. I'll eat a little bit. I'll drink a little bit. I'll sleep a little bit. Then I'll say Krishma, Vespalal, and I'll daven. And what's going to happen? And all of a sudden he's going to get into deep sleep. He'll sleep the whole night. So in order that this shouldn't happen, Chacham said, you know what? Better that you get up and better that you finish saying Krishma bechatzais. So what should happen? When you come home at night, don't go home, go straight to shul. Read gemorah, read psukim, whatever it is you do. Then you say Krishma, then you go home, eat, bench, and sleep. Right? So, before we go any further, right? What was the Gemara's question? The top of the Amud. The Gemara says, why don't you hold like Rabbi Gamliel? Why don't you just say you hold like Rabbi Gamliel, right? The Gemara answers, they do hold like Rabbi Gamliel, they just made this hachaka. And in fact, in the Mishnah, if you look in the Mishnah, that's what Rabbi Gamliel says. Rabbi Gamliel said, you got till Alais, you got till the morning, and what happened is his kids came and said, we've got to say Krishma, what should we do? And he said, you still say Krishma. Chum only said, till Chatzais, Lahachik is other ben Averas. You shouldn't do an Avera. The whole Gemara seems like a bit strange, like that's our Mishnah. What's going on over here? So, Achronim explain, how do you read this Gemara? What's happening over here? So, what's the Havamina the Chacham don't hold like Rabbi Gamliel? Why should Chacham not be making a siyag? Of course Chacham are making a siyag. They're making a border. Of course they're making some type of protection. In other words, there's two options over here. Either you hold like you've got till the morning. B'shachcha either means the whole time you sleep, the whole night. Or it means b'shachcha means when you go to bed. Right? So chatzais is never, it's neither of them. Right? So what's going on over here? So the chayra, they hold you've got the whole night. So why do you do to chatzais? It's a siyag. But the Achronim say it can't be a siyag. Because what does the siyag say? It can't be that they're saying, don't read Krishma after Chatzais. That's the Havamina. Havamina is, according to Chachamim, say till Chatzais, but if you miss Chatzais, you can still read. You're learning Torah. Shema, it's Torah. They can't say, don't read Krishma. So Chazal can't be telling me in the Havamina that don't read Krishma b'chal after Chatzais. In other words, what was the siyag? Was the siyag say before Chatzais? If you missed it, say it afterwards. The Rabbanon, you have to say before Chatzais. Or with Chazal saying, say before Chatzais, after Chatzais, there's no longer mitzvah Krishma, you're not allowed to say Krishma anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like a sayag, no?
So the Havamina, the Chaim say, the Havamina is, the Havamina, there's no such thing. Chazal can't tell you, don't say Krishma. You're allowed to learn Torah. Right? So that can't be Pshat. So Pshat is obviously, it's a regular siyag. In that case, well, what's the difference between Rabbi Gamliel and Chachamim? Rabbi Gamliel also seems to be saying, L'chayra, he agrees with him. Rabbi Gamliel agrees that all of the Torah, when it comes to korbanos, make a siyag. You have to finish your carbon by what's it called? Finish your carbon by chatzais. It's always a siyag, right? So Rabbi Gamliel also holds a siyag. Try and do it before chatzais. So he'll also, Rabbi Gamliel hold, try and do it before chatzais. So so in that case, there's no machlokes between Chacham and Rabbi Gamliel. So why is there three opinions in the Mishnah? Right? And another mahalach over here is that it could be the Gemara has a havamina, the Chachamim don't hold like Rabbi Gamliel, you have till the morning. There's a second mahalach. Chachamim say you've got till chatzais. Why? Because, guess what? They hold, you have to say b'zman shchiva, when you go to bed. But people go to bed till chatzais, not till the end of the first third. No, they hold like Rabbi Eliezer. How you learn the pasuk. B'shachar means when people go to bed, not when people are sleeping all night. Rabbi Eliezer says you've got the whole night when people sleep. Rabbi Eliezer says you've only got when people go to bed. So it could be Chacham hold. When do you say Krishma? When people go to bed. When do people go to bed? Till chatzais, not till the first third. It's not. In other words, it's not a siag bechlal. So the Gemara had a havamina like that.
So according to that
shita, lefi Chachamim, after chatzais, it's like Rebbe Lezer. You can't say Krishma B'chal. So you're done. So those are a couple of ways to understand the gemorah. What's going on over here in the Havamim of the gemorah? What's going on? Take a look in Taisvus. Top Taisvus. Ukera Krishma Mispalel, says Taisvus. Mikan Mashma. It's Mashma from here. Shmishashi gives man Krishma Shalayla. She'ein Alecha Suda Achiko Krishma Vispal Larvis. That once it's Seisach Rechovim, you're not allowed to eat until you read Krishma and you daven Ma'ariv, right? So, because that's what this Maimah was, Kedatanya. That he says, I'm going to come home, I'll eat a little bit, drink a little bit, and they said, no, you have to say Krishma first. So the question is, why is it Mashma from here? It's Mufresh from here. When it says Mekan Mashma, it looks, it's implicit from here, it's implied that you should say Krishma first. No, it's Mufresh. So the answer is that no, because this whole gemorah is going to Chachamim. We don't pass like Chachamim, we pass like Rabbi Gamliel. In that case, this doesn't apply. So what's the mashmois from here? Because it could be this has got nothing to do with, this sugi has got nothing to do with when you say Krishma. It's a separate gzera. There's two gzeras. One gzera is say Krishma techatzais. This gzera is eat before you say Krishma. Don't eat before you say Krishma. There's two totally separate gzeras. So it could be we do hold like this, even though we don't hold like Chachamim, but maybe we still hold like this gzera that you have to say Krishma before you eat. And the two things are not connected. There's two machlokes. One is, when do you have till? Chacham say till chatzais. We don't pass like that. The other malach is that, but this gzera, that you have to eat first, they have to say Krishma before you eat. That's true. Bein Yoina understands this slightly differently. Now, halacha l'maisa, we say you can't say Krishma, you can't eat half an hour before the Zman. You can't be Kaveh Suda half an hour before the Zman. Taisus here, take a look at Taisus. Mizman she gives man Krishma. Not that you can't eat half an hour before. He says from Zman Krishma, from Tais. So what is it? Taisus says Mashma, Mishah she gives man Krishma. You have to say Krishma. You're not allowed to eat, right? But we hold halacha. You're not allowed to be Kaveh Suda half an hour before. That's gemorah and Shabbos. You're not allowed to be Kaveh Suda half an hour before Zman Tefillah. Why? What's going on over here? Is it half an hour before? Or is it Zman Krishma? So some want to say that Rabbi Kiva, the places means half an hour before. It doesn't mean, Others want to say that the gemorah here is not talking about being Kaveh Suda. The gemorah here is talking about Eichel Kima. I'll eat a little bit. I'll drink a little bit. And that's what places means. That you're not allowed, once Zman Krishma comes, you're not allowed to even eat or drink a little bit. Kaveh Suda, that's half an hour before. You can't be Kaveh Suda. But even eating and drinking a tiny bit, you're allowed to have a cup of water once it's taste? No. So taste is mashma, once taste comes, you can't even drink a drop of water. Say Krishma. Other Mahalchimah is that, but the gemorah that says you have to not be Kaveh Suda half an hour before Ma'ariv, that's because Ma'ariv is Darabana. That's talking about Shemoneh Esrei, Ma'ariv, that's Darabana. But this Krishma is Doraisa. Krishma is Doraisa. Therefore, for Krishma, you don't have. Krishma is more kuladik. Either because Chacham they made the machmeh on a din darabanan, you have to push it off either half an hour before, and I'll explain to you in a second why. But by Krishma, you don't have to wait half an hour before. It's Doraisa. We're not worried about the Doraisa so much, so you're allowed to start eating even half an hour before. But you just can't start eating Zman Krishma. And the reason is because for a Darabanan, if you started eating the Suda before the half an hour before, let's say you start having the Suda lunchtime, 2 in the afternoon, you can keep going for your Suda till Zman Ma'ariv. You don't have to stop. For the Darabanan Tefillah, you don't have to stop. You can daven afterwards. But for Krishma, you have to stop immediately and say Krishma straight away. So those of you Malachim of in Taisus, why Taisus doesn't say you've got to have a half an hour of sukkah. Now we're a bit short of time, but we'll get into it. We'll start. So it's fascinating. It's very important. Massive chiddush here from the Shulchan Aruch. I'll read to you the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says like this: Lechatchila tzarich likros kriyishma miyad b'tzeisik hachavim. Lechatchila, you have to be kriyishma immediately when nightfall. Okay, no one seems to argue. When do you say kriyishma? Immediately at nightfall. He brings, that's the holidays. There's a mitzvah to say kriyishma immediately nightfall. You shouldn't wait till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, late minyanim. Zmana ad chatzi alayla. When do you have to say kriyishma? Till chatzi alayla. You got to chatzais. Vim ava vakara. After chatzais, you yaitza. Tel alaysa shacha. So who does it sound like Shulchan Aruch passing like? Chachamim. Says the Mishnah Berurah, he's passing like Chachamim. Right? You got to do it till chatzais. You miss chatzais, you got till the end of the night. And the Chacham don't hold that you're not allowed to say kriyishma afterwards. Chacham hold you got till chatzais, lechatchila. But b'diavad, if you didn't say it till chatzais, what's it then? You got till the end of till the morning. Right? Chazal never said don't say kriyishma afterwards. Which was one of the Havaminas in the Gemorah. Right? How we answer the Gemorah. The question is that what's going on over there? The Gemara says in black and white, we pass like Rabbi Gamliel, not like Chachamim. The Gemara says we pass like Rabbi Gamliel. So why is the Shulchan Aruch passing like Chachamim? You got to Chatzais. Rabbi Gamliel says you got to the morning.
This Rabbi Gamliel, someone agrees, like we were saying earlier.
Oh, so exactly. So it could be the Rabbi Gamliel agrees with Chachamim that Achatchila you should only do it till Chatzais. In that case, what's the Machik Rabbi Gamliel and Chachamim? Let's take a look at the Bialach. The Bialach explains. The Shulchan Aruch says you go to Chatzais, he passes like the Rambam, and not like the Rashba and the Rosh. Why? Because the Rambam and the Rosh and the Rashba hold that we don't pass like Chachamim. Only the Chachamim say you've got to Chatzais. But according to Rabbi Gamliel, you got the whole night, lechatchila. Right? You got the whole night. Now, if you remember what the Gemara said, the Mishnah, Rabbi Gamliel brought this siyag. So you could say that Rabbi Gamliel himself says that you bring korbanos, you eat the chatzais. Rabbi Gamliel himself holds of the siyag. Why wouldn't maybe Rabbi Gamliel also holds of the siyag over here? So what you could say is that Rabbi Gamliel only holds of the siyag when it's an issa. Chacham made a siyag. If you're going to eat the korban the next day, you're going to be over an issa. If you eat it after Leisa Shacha, it's asa. You got to eat it bizman. It's pigel. So for an issa, Chazal said siyag. Don't eat it. Don't stop a chatzais. It's asa. But for kriyishma, what's the problem? You read it afterwards. So you become a mitzvah Talmud Torah. You won't become kriyishma. There's no reason to make the siyag. There's no reason to do that. Let the guy say whenever he wants. There's no point in making a siyag. What do you gain? There's no chash of issa. We're not worried that someone's going to do the issa. Worst comes to us, you didn't do a mitzvah. You didn't do an avera. You just didn't do a mitzvah. So let's keep going. Says the Bialacha. Gam nuchol loimed the gamar b'gamliel moed chachamim ledina di'eshtak lechilat chatzais. You could say that even Rabbi Gamliel hold that you should do it lechatchilat chatzais. V'lei ba lechalek mishnah kiyema al Rebbe Lezer. So why is Rabbi Gamliel in the Mishnah? If Rabbi Gamliel holds like the chachamim, that really you should do it till chatzais. And he told his kids you got till the morning, but you got till the morning. But lechatchila till chatzais. I agree with the chachamim. So why is he in the Mishnah b'chal? What's Rabbi Gamliel Shita? So the whole reason why he's in the Mishnah is to tell me not like Rebbe Lezer. Rebbe Lezer says you've got the first 3 hours, first mishmeres, and he says no, you've got the whole night. But really he agrees with the Chachamim? Because he holds you got a siyag. Rabbi Gamliel is first. He holds you got a siyag by everything else. By everything else, you have to finish by chatzais.
Oh no, it's tricky.
So it turns out that the Maisa, right? The Bialacha says the efsha that you can be soimach on the Rosh and the Rashba to say kriyishma lechatchila after chatzais. You can say kriyishma after chatzais. L'moshel, for example, you're giving a shir barabim, say it after chatzais. Right? Now there's a big machlokes Rishonim. According to Rabbi Gamliel, do you have till chatzais or afterwards? Gemorah says we pass like Rabbi Gamliel. So you could be saying Rabbi Gamliel, you have the whole night. No. Okay. It turns out halacha l'maisa, when's it negeah? So some Achronim want to say that you didn't daven mincha. You should only do tashlumim. You can daven ma'ariv twice, but it's only till chatzais when it's the ikas man ma'ariv. Don't daven mincha twice at 3 in the morning after chatzais. Someone will say, I'll say no. You've got the whole night. Mikra din, like the Rosh ben Rosh, you've got the whole night to daven Shemona Esra. The other question is when do you have to daven ma'ariv? Do you have to daven ma'ariv before chatzais? Because it's totally in Kriya Shema? Or do you have the whole night to daven Kriya ma'ariv? My nafkamina. So the question is it better to daven yeshivs by yourself before chatzais, or with a minyan after chatzais? What's better? If you hold like the Rambam, you got to daven before chatzais, daven yeshivs. If you hold like the Rosh and the Rafshba, the Rabbi Gamliel is the Ikki, you've got the whole night. You've got the whole night daven ma'ariv, daven with a minyan after chatzais. What's the big deal? Right? So Rav Elisha says you're better off davening after chatzais with a minyan, based on his bi'alacha, mikra din, you pass like Rabbi Gamliel, you're allowed to daven with a minyan. It's better to daven with a minyan after chatzais. Another question is, for example, you're on a bus, right? And it's traveling, it's a 6-hour bus ride or an airplane. Airplane's more complicated. But you can't stand up and daven Shemona Esrei. Should you daven Shemona Esrei sitting down before chatzais, or wait after chatzais and stand up? So for that they say you're better off davening before chatzais sitting down than waiting till afterwards and standing up. That's what the place can say. So big nafkamin is halacha l'maisa. How do we paskin? For whatever reason, the Shulchan Aruch seems to go with the Rambam that you've got till chatzais lechatchila, and l'chayra the Rambam holds that it's only the Rebbe. Either he holds like the Chachamim, which is a pella, why would he hold like Chachamim, or he holds like Rabbi Gamliel. The Rabbi Gamliel himself agrees with, like the Bialach says. Turns out, this is how the Bialach wants to learn. Lefi the Bialacha, Lefi the Rambam, Rabbi Gamliel also agrees with the Gezerah of Chachamim. You've got lechatchila till chatzais. Only after chatzais you can do it. Okay, Adkan, have a wonderful day. Very complicated sugya.